Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for being here, logging in virtually to our marketing team. Thank you very much. And also our shareholders and our investors and potential investors here for Everlane. As you know, we are seeking more investment, okay, more capital. We are seeking exactly $1.2 million for the both second and third quarter of 2020. And let's tell you a little bit about our company and how we're going to get there. So what is Everlane exactly? Well, Everlane is an ethical clothing company and it sells directly to consumers. So that means we operate off of a B2C strategy. And by doing that, we're able to eliminate middleman markup. That results in a product that is not only ethical, and when I say ethical, that's from our hiring practices right down to how the product is made. And it's also cheaper for the consumer. So you get that high-end quality at a lot cheaper price. We're going to talk about some ways that we're going to get there, our new marketing strategy that we plan on implementing as well. Okay. Before we begin, I would like to tell you a little bit about kind of how we arrived at our company's mission and this new marketing that we're intending to roll out. And it all kind of started when I was at a restaurant, my wife and I's, one of our favorite Italian restaurants. I remember sitting inside this restaurant thinking about not only just how great the food was, but the atmosphere. And this was the atmosphere that kept me coming back for more. Everything from the front of the house to where the food was being made. Customers can see the entire kitchen along with all the prep work that was being done by the chefs, and the layout gave a great transparency, and it left you feeling some sort of sense of trust and authenticity. Now that same kind of transparency is what's happening at our company Everlane with our clothing line. And radical transparency, that's our mission, radical transparency. Our customers are able to see on our website, and we break down the direct cost of their clothing, everything from the accounting for the materials to the labor, transport, all that. We break all that down. We believe in being transparent and open and honest with our consumer. Okay? As you can see, I am not wearing a tie or a suit jacket today. I'm wearing one of our Everlane basics. This is our basic tee with basic pant, and that is the trend in fashion right now, and that's where we're going, and that's what our company is all about. So let's talk a little bit about what we're seeking and our projected target and revenue. Okay. Our projected target is to reach 15% growth in revenue by second quarter. And we're going to talk about what it's going to take to get us there with the launch of some new products. First, let's talk about how we ended last year. So as of 2010, that's when we were founded in 2010. Initially, we had 1.2 million for investment capital, okay? And then about 8 years prior to current, which is the last investment, we had another 1.1 million. And the main source of our funding came from investor Light Street Capital. Okay, we ended 2016 with revenue just north of 100 million. And that's more than double the 50 million that we booked in 2015. So for a company that only sells men and women's apparel basics, it's really just an incredible success story. How do we get there? Well, we attribute most of that to our B2C strategy. We target millennials of the basic clothing style movement, also young professionals who want style but more subdued clothing. Our huge market is the eco-friendly, sustainable practice seekers, people who want ethically sourced goods. We're talking 25 to 45-year-old men and women for quality clothing at a lower cost. Before I go any further, let's take some questions. Are there any questions?
Hi, who is your competition?
It's a great question. So right now we have about 7 major competitors out there. The Real is probably our biggest. They're retail private. They foster high-end clothing. They're not focused so much on the ethical. We have Orchard Mile, Reformation, Steve Madden, and Jay Hilburn and Rebecca Minkoff. Those are our main competition. Okay? So right now, here's what we're thinking for our marketing. We are going to be launching a new clothing line under a separate name, okay? And it's a children's clothing line, okay? And it's designed for infants and toddlers. And the line's going to be called Fair Kids. Now, Fair Kids is a wordplay based off of the concept of fair trade coffee, which is also rooted in ethical business practices. Okay, so it's a bit of newsjacking that we did. Okay, now, although it seems like kind of a risk, jeopardizing the market, it's necessary just to scale the business. Okay? Matter of fact, it was George Day that actually said companies that want to increase their market orientation have to change their organizational structure. Okay, it's a great question. What other questions are there?
What other creative forms of marketing have you done?
Another great question. Well, we've done a couple. You know, modern form of marketing is a lot different from the old way of marketing. So we've been attacking, our bloggers have been on 24/7. Like I said, we've done a bit of newsjacking. Okay, we got a lot of response off. We created a tagline. Clothing that is quality enough for a Lannister, yet simple enough for a Stark. So if you're familiar with the Game of Thrones TV show, that was newsjacked off of that show. We've got a lot of response from that. Also, based off of the Fair Kids, the name, that concept was a bit of creative marketing as well. So that's a great question. Now, let's talk about how we plan on scaling this. So as we move into the future, convenient ways to shop have taken priority over traditional means. So mobile shopping has almost surpassed the traditional computer. And the trend for mobile shopping is predicted to surpass computers within the next 5 years. So that means the average cart abandonment rate for 2016 was 77.24%. And the number is actually rising slightly. It rose to 78.65% in 2017, I believe. Now, we're going to create a mobile app. Okay? Only drawback to that is shopping via mobile app. It could increase your abandonment rate, okay? Which we're predicting will increase it to 85.6% compared to the desktop abandonment rate is 73.07%. Now, this is where we have to weigh the risk versus the reward of profit and overall customer satisfaction, or your CSI, okay? And the good news is with our team, we have intuitive targeted marketing which engages consumers on a personal, meaningful level, okay? And it's actually known as kinetic property in advertising. And studies have shown that kinetic property in advertising enhances consumer judgment of product novelty. Okay? The strategy is mainly attempting to create brand loyalty because a huge number of our client base is in that millennial range, and studies show that millennials are less likely to be brand loyal. Okay? Those are all great questions. What other questions are there? All right. Well, like I said, we're looking for the 1.2 million in investments, and we look very much forward to your resources, and hope that you trust in our new marketing plan, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you so much for coming out.